Okay, so I'm guessing at the bottom line of this cup. I think it's going to be something like that. Now I'm looking at the place where the lip of the mug is rising above the lip of the nearer mug. Somewhere up here. And you must feel that these lines are very flexible and ready to be moved at any one point. You'll see I'm making multiple lines. I'm not trying to get one perfect line and when it looks wrong I'm rubbing it out. That's not the way to draw. You must be very, very loose, flexible and work very light and feathery. And your pencil is always moving on the paper, always in movement. There we go. There's the handle is something like that. And there we've got our second mug. The second mug should look vaguely smaller than the front mug because the front mug is a little bit closer. Okay, right, I'm happy with that. Now I'm shifting over to the second apple, which is on the left of this mug. Here we have to judge the distance between, I want to judge the distance between the handle and where I think that apple is. And I'm going to make a little mark there, where I think the outside edge of the apple is. Then I'm comparing the point of the base of the apple. Now this apple is on exactly the same distance away from me as the blue mug. So I know it must be resting on the table at exactly the same distance away from me. So it's on the same line as the blue mug. And the top of the apple is more or less on at the same height as the top of the handle. So it's somewhere up here, the top of this apple. So it's going to come quite big. You have to believe your eyes. Your brain will carry on telling you that apple is not that big. That apple's not that big. But listen to your eyes. Don't listen to your brain. The brain is programmed with all sorts of stuff and will very often try to negate what you're seeing with your eyes. Okay, here's our second apple. More or less okay. Okay? It's looking quite a lot bigger than this one. It's probably because it really is bigger. Okay. I'm looking at the highlight and I'm drawing in the shadow shape as well. Right. Now I'm going back to the furthest cup. And that furthest cup is cutting my apple. It's intersecting with my apple right up here at about 10 o'clock on the apple. Somewhere there. And the right hand side of it is intersecting with my apple right up here at about 11:30. There we go. Now look at the top of this cup in relation to the top of these cups. A little bit higher. It's got to be smaller because it's further away from us in space. There we go. Just nice and loose. Look how I'm holding my pencil. So loose. Don't do that. It's too tight. Keep it lovely and soft and loose. There we go. There's no handle on this one. There it is. Okay? Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got our 5 objects in. Now we've got to look at this close apple. And this is where you really got to believe your eyes. This close apple, try to judge the distance here between this. It must be measured in relation to the primary object, your first object. And make a sort of a rough mark where you think it may be. And then look at its outer edge and look at it in relation to the object above it in space. It's definitely to the right of this and it's somewhere near the middle of this cup. If I took a vertical line from the outside of this apple, it would bisect this cup somewhere here, that mug somewhere there. So I know this apple is actually this big. Now I'm looking at this edge of the apple, and if I took a vertical line up to that apple, it is virtually on the same line as that apple, so it's a point somewhere here. So here is my front apple, trying to get this in nice and loosely. Here's my front apple, little dolly there, nice dark line on this side, lovely light line on this side because of the highlight. Relationship is more or less right here. My relationship is right there. Now, there's lots of spatiality in this drawing. That means that we can see the space moving through the painting. All the objects have got space to exist in. And this is because I think I have correctly judged the distances away from my eye point. If I was to draw this mug behind that one, but on the same line as it, same base point, that mug behind this one wouldn't have a place to operate, wouldn't have a place to exist. So be very careful that you get your base relationships between the different objects correct. Then you will achieve the spatiality that we want. Each object will have space to exist in its position. Then when you've got everything sort of mapped in like this, you can go back and you can perfect and put any other line work that you would like to put in. If you would like to put in suggest the cloth or the line at the back, the edge of the cloth, the edge of the table or whatever, now's the time to do it. But never, ever, never start with the cloth or the edge of the table. Please don't do that. You start with the central object in your still life. Put it where you want it, make it the size you want it, and then everything else gets drawn in relationship to your primary object.